The Florida Gators have landed their second commitment of the day out of the transfer portal. Joey Slackman, you are a Florida Gator. Let's talk about it here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello for the second time today. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Sunday night this time. I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. Like I said, the Florida Gators have landed their second commitment of the night. This time it comes in the form of Joey Slackman, who, I don't know if you know this, big fan of what he brings to the table. I'm very much looking forward to watching him actually contribute to this defense. I do think he's an immediate starter on that interior. I know that they said that they view him as that big tackle end kind of hybrid. He's 6'4", 300 pounds. And look, over the past 2 years, he's got damn near 50 pressures as a pass rusher coming off that same spot. I'm very curious to see how this is going to work out. We got the shades on again, by the way. If you're listening and not watching, we got the shades on for the second time today. We're going to keep them on because damn, all right, Florida doing some good things. But Joey Slackman is someone that I'm curious to see what the plan is going to be for him because personally, I think he's an immediate. I think he's someone that you have to play immediately. Like you can't have a little debate about, do we have a rotation for him? He starts. I think that's how I feel about Joey Slackman immediately off this on the defensive line. The issue is that big tackle, that big end spot that they talk about is the spot that Caleb Banks plays. And Caleb Banks, the second most pressures on the Florida Gators roster last season, behind only Princely Umanmielen, which of course means Caleb Banks is your leading returning pass rusher for the season. Hey, Zach, thanks for I was considering going live, and your message made me go live. So thanks for that. But Joey Slackman, someone that's going to step in immediately. Florida finally getting some momentum on the trail is absolutely huge. Like most of us acknowledge, this week is probably going to be a little rough for the Florida Gators. When you have we're expecting Xavier Philistine to flip. We're expecting Mars Williams to flip. Darius Hayes might flip. I feel like that one's kind of 50-50 right now. But adding Joey Slackman the same day that you add Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon is huge. What's up, Jacob? Here from the Subtext group. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you're not part of the Subtext group, you should join it. The people in the chat can tell you how much they enjoy it if they want to. That's fine by me. They could also tell people if they want to. But it's joinsubtext.com/LockedOnGators. Link is in the description below. But yeah, this is a big ad for Florida because again, same thing with Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. There was so much just silence from the staff on the trail in the transfer portal over a recent week or two. And it just felt like things were just going to continue going poorly. But they didn't. Florida finally making some waves. And look, it's a great start to the early signing period. I mean, I like, okay. A great start to the week of early signing period because early signing period is Wednesday. But for Florida, like you got Joey Slackman coming in, and he's going to be immediate as a contributor. You've got two more players that Florida feels pretty damn good about on their target list for the transfer portal right now. So I think that this might not be the last live of the night. I can tell you tomorrow's full show is just going to be about this awesome transfer portal day. I think with Florida, it seems that the approach that they're going for right now is just, hey, we're going to let you feel really bad about yourself if you're a Florida Gators fan. And then out of nowhere, you're going to get good news, which it is good and bad at the same time because obviously we could feel a little bit. Things could feel bad at times. Like things get down. Yeah, I think that there's going to be more good news tonight. There's still two players who I'm looking at in the portal. That Florida feels really good about, and Florida could be landing. I'll send it. I'll send it to the subtext right now. How about that? How about the subtext people are going to get a list right now about who Florida could be landing even tonight. Chris, like, what are you upset about? I get it. They're not They're not from a Power Five school. You know who is from Power Five schools? Jalen Kimber, Damian George, Tiraja Mitchell. You know who wasn't from a Power Five school? Osiris Torrance, Montreal Johnson. I'm just telling you that, yeah, it's great to add players. I'm just saying, like it's great to add players that want to be here. This is especially Joey Slackman. Like, I'll let you guys in on a little bit. Joey Slackman wanted to commit to the Florida Gators last week. Last week it was a thing. There was, and I'm not saying that they didn't want him. That there was a little bit of an issue at a certain point, but yeah, he was willing to commit last week. That's a thing. That he was willing to commit last week to the Florida Gators. Didn't happen. He had the Auburn offer that he tweeted about, and he set up an Auburn visit. And every Florida Gators fan was just like, oh my God, Auburn's the boogeyman now. And that was a legitimate concern there with Auburn, but not the case. Ended up being a Florida game. He ended up canceling the visit. And sorry, I'm trying to. This is the beautiful thing about live, about going live. And so that this is a big ad for Florida on the defensive line. We'll talk about more with what they still have to do, because like you added an offensive tackle, you added a defensive line. I mean, you've shored up two spots, but you've still got a lot of work to do with this cycle, really. Even before nationals, even before early signing day, it's going to be very, very soon. You've got some waves that you have to make, and you've got some positions that you need to address. But before we talk about what else Florida needs to do, with passion, drive, and patience, that's what brings home the winning trophy and keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. And I'm just saying, with all the parts you need at the price that you want, pretty easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply, and eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day. We are available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube, which if you're watching this live, obviously you know about YouTube. And we'll finish this. I'm going to pitch the subtext here because I'm sending a message literally now. And it has been sent to the subtext group. There we go. That's been sent. If you want to be a part of the subtext group, join subtext.com/LockedOnGators. The link's in the description below. It's 2 weeks free, $5 a month after that. Ton of insight, talk recruiting in there. We talk all the coaching tidbits that we may get. But yeah, for Florida, adding Joey Slackman's huge. Adding Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, man, is huge. You got a couple other targets that we have had on campus here. There's a couple Wisconsin kids that hit the portal, and Graham Mertz has a pretty good relationship with those guys, where we could see a little bit of movement there. But this is one of those times where Billy is doing that thing where he just allows us to hate our lives, and then he decides to go on this wild run again, this is big, not in just terms of actually landing the players, but you've got a few guys committed to your class or not committed to your class that you are targeting. And right now, for weeks, all they've heard about how things are so bad in Gainesville. Nobody wants to go to Gainesville. It's sinking ship, all that stuff. So, right before those kids need to make their decision is when Florida's adding a starting offensive tackle, a starting defensive lineman, and you're kind of building that momentum. And there are two guys who are pretty sought after in the portal, Joey Slackman more than Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, but they're guys that were sought after in the portal, and you're adding them, and it's like, okay, well, they don't even have a D line coach, and they got Joey Slackman to commit. Think that goes to a pretty good selling point as maybe people are bought in here, and I think that helps you when you're looking at these recruiting classes. Like if the door's not shut on Amaris Williams, which I don't think the door's shut, I just think that there's a very slim chance of keeping Amaris Williams, then maybe that helps. Xavier Philsamy, I count as gone. I know that there's so many people on Twitter who are in denial about it, and if he stays, I'll be thrilled. But I'm counting him as gone until proven otherwise. You look at Jameer Grimsley just shut down his recruitment, so you're out of that one. But Jaden Baugh is an Arkansas commit running back that you're targeting. You're competing with Alabama for him. You kind of answer some of the questions. And Darius Hayes just went to Miami, and I promise you there's a ton of negative recruiting there about Florida. You can answer the questions. You can answer that and kind of solve, does anybody want to come to Florida? You got two kids out of the portal today. Maybe going to get a third. Things could happen. I'm expecting some kind of movement tonight, some kind of announcement for at least Trickwise Bridges is one of the guys that I'm talking about. That I think Florida feels pretty good about Trickwise. And Trickwise yesterday tweeted tomorrow. So tomorrow, time is running out. But if he is, I think he was just in Washington this past weekend. So if he's still there, then it's only 5:30 p.m. for him. So that could be a bit of a difference there. But Florida's going to continue pushing, continue trying to build progress and trying to build momentum that you desperately need to build before early signing day hits this week. Again, I thought the Joey Slackman commit was coming middle of this week. I've never changed about whether or not I think Florida is going to land Joey Slackman. I've always said that I think Florida feels good about where they stand. I think that, and the subtext people can provide backup for that. I've always said Florida feels good about where they stand on Slackman. I feel good about Slackman. I would take Slackman in a heartbeat. I think he's a very talented football player. And it appears that Florida's finally getting some momentum there. And with Slackman, you landed him. I'm curious to see where he winds up. Does he play the Chris McClellan role, but as a starter, and you kind of bump Caleb Banks down? Because I think Joey Slackman can genuinely play three spots on the line. I think he could play that big that big end spot that Caleb Banks plays. I think that he could play the F right away. And I think if you go like a clear passing down, I think you could throw him in at the nose when you're like, yeah, we're rushing the passer here no matter what. I think you could put him at the nose if you need to. So I think Joey Slackman is incredibly versatile. I think he's an immediate impact player on this defense. And yeah, Colorado could have a billion transfer portal kids at this time. But Florida, yeah, you got two, but it's two damn good ones in the trenches too, where Florida was horribly wrong. You got some room to grow with other spots, and you have some potential to adding to this transfer portal class. Florida's getting positive momentum, positive wins where they desperately need them, and they haven't gotten them in a very long time. And that's huge for Florida because you need that. Again, like you got Gregory Smith, safety, looking at where he's going to commit. He's committing on the 20th. Last week when he pushed things back, it was looking rough. This week he's like, all right, well, maybe Florida's doing some things. You added a starting tackle. I mean, honestly, on the offensive and defensive lines, you've added a starting tackle. Maybe things are looking better. It's about Florida trying to build positive momentum because for so long there's only been negative momentum for Florida. Adding two big time impact players in the portal is huge for Florida. Did he, Chris? Did he just commit? I see that they got a crystal ball for him. See, there's a crystal ball for him. I haven't seen him say anything officially. But hey, if you do get Trickwise Bridges, then you're looking even more positive. Was it his Instagram? Was it his? I will check his Instagram before heading out of here. And if he did commit immediately, then hell, maybe we just keep this ball rolling. Trickwise Bridges on his. Yep, there's a story post. It tells me there's a story post, and then it says he deleted the story. So that's interesting. Let's hang tight for a second and see if we okay, crystal ball. There we Chris, come on, man. You're killing me. You're killing me. I do think Trickwise Bridges and Chimere, I'm not sure if it's pronounced DK or Dyke, but the wide receiver from Wisconsin. I'm expecting something from him as well at some point. I think Florida feels really good about both of them. But again, more positive momentum. We'll go live if one of those guys commit. But again, this is maybe a big momentum changing weekend for Florida. We know that early in January, they're looking to get a lot of visits in. Like they're planning on hammering visits in January once the staff's together, especially once they figure out the vacant spots right now and maybe make some other changes. But thanks so much for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, every day. We are available daily and free wherever this is. Thanks, Chris. I thought it was that. I just wanted to make sure. We're available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Yeah, sure. Like Shake Money said, hit the like button. And for Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole Nine Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33. And I will see you all maybe later, maybe tomorrow. We'll figure it out when there's news. All right. How about that one?